What's up, flappers? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about Raiden Shogun. And I've seen in the past couple of days a lot of people are actually worried, and they have good reason to be, right? Looking at Archon's histories, starting with Venti and now Zhongli, it's safe to assume that once we get into Sumeru, once the Dendro Archon gets released and content for that region gets more and more abundant, isn't it time for MiHoYo to turn their sights onto Raiden? I mean, this woman right now currently still has over 90% usage in the Abyss. Isn't that just a little too convenient, especially for people running C0 Raidens? So it's understandable a lot of people right now currently say, I don't want to get any Raiden constellations, I don't want to get any character constellations, because eventually they all just get targeted and they become less relevant and the game moves on to newer characters. So why not just save the Primogems and go experience those new characters and whatnot? As long as I'm having fun, as long as you're having fun, who the hell cares? And you're right, exactly. Like, you can click off the video if that's truly how you feel, because going through this video I just want to let you guys know the inevitability of the progression through this game for all characters, and still maybe help ease the thought to some people that why building Raiden Shogun is still a good idea in the long run of the game. All right, with that said, like, subscribe. I make these kind of videos all the time. It's just discussion, people. It's my opinion. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take it to heart. If you think that I'm wrong, form your own opinion and then leave it down in the comment sections below for everyone else to be able to benefit off of multiple points of views. So first and foremost, yes, you are right. There will come a day when MiHoYo turns their sights fully on Raiden just to make sure that she drops a little bit in usage rate. There's an issue with MiHoYo when people play one character too much. It shows them that their whole philosophy of diversification and making every character unique is complete and utter BS in most cases, and that infuriates them. So how they do it is they design new mechanics into the game to specifically counter a unit that is being overused, right? So you guys remember the time I talked about this when Venti was too overused because of Morgana, and also a lot of mobs in the Abyss were the smaller mobs, right? Easy to group up and just take care of them, and it completely trivialized any mechanic MiHoYo was able to conjure up. So what they did was they just started designing mobs that were unCCable, not able to pull together. And at the time I said, you know, Venti's gonna drop in usage rate because of this, and I got a huge wave of hate saying, Walrus, you don't know what you're talking about. I use my Venti on these big monsters all the time. It doesn't matter. I still am able to clear with Venti. And then Kazuha came out, and that was the final nail in the coffin for Venti, and those people shut up real quick, right? It's gonna happen to other characters. And here's the thing, what happened to Venti is very difficult for MiHoYo to replicate onto someone like Raiden Shogun. And one of the reasons is constellation scaling, because Venti's constellations, especially at the lower levels, are complete utter garbage. There was no benefit by pulling for Venti constellations, and you weren't able to scale him up to any noticeable degree. All his features were his utility. You relied him heavily on that single utility feature, and once you strip that away from him, he starts becoming less important. Whereas Raiden, much like Zhongli, functions in many similar avenues at the highest level. Take damage, for example. Raiden C0 compared to a lot of other C0 carries, she's able to keep up and sometimes even outbest some of them if you got the right builds and supports. When it comes to utility features, she's able to surge and charge batteries for the entire team while not even being the same elemental type as them. So you can say that she could be played as a burst support in that regards. However, at C0 that's arguable because you're trading off damage windows for Raiden to be on field as a support DPS, right? So it's irrelevant to this video, but maybe in the future we'll talk about that. So in essence, Raiden is a much more difficult character for MiHoYo to pinpoint and target, whereas Zhongli, yet another heavily utility featured unit. Are you running Zhongli for his damage? Are you running Zhongli for his petrification? Very few are. Those are bonuses on top of what's already available in his kit. And the biggest thing is that shield, right? It's that freaking shield. So for MiHoYo to target Zhongli, they just have to make sure his shielding becomes less beneficial to him, and straight up in some cases useless. So now we look at Raiden Shogun. She's like the third iteration of the Archons, right? Now she is this character who not only deals good damage damage, she's also irreplaceable in a way that she supercharges the entire team. Now we went from 1 factor to 2 factors. So for MiHoYo to take out Raiden, I think they don't really have to worry too much about the second option. This time it's reversed. Raiden is too good at dealing damage with lower constellations. So think about it like this. How many people do you guys think are still running Raiden with C0 and the free weapon catch, right? MiHoYo decided to give you guys all a free weapon, the catch. And MiHoYo knows that it was going to be the free-to-play option for Raiden Shogun. And I do think in the future for Sumeru, they're going to release a similar free option for the Dendro Archon because they know this formula works. They make money off of this. And going forward, it's understandable if MiHoYo is able to target Raiden through one specific way. And let me tell you, this is going to be more of a C0 Raiden targeting. Why? Because the majority of people are running C0 Raiden. So if MiHoYo wants to see that usage rate drop down a little bit, not like a freaking car off a cliff, just slightly, right? Maybe from 90% down to 75%. That's going to be a noticeable drop, and all they have to do is target the C0 users. I wouldn't be surprised in the future in Sumeru that higher and stronger defense units are going to be a thing. I made a video talking about this with speculations regarding defense scaling enemies, and CN was able to chime in for that video as well. So if you guys are curious, maybe go check that one out, because seeing mobs being able to buff their defense midway through the fight likely is going to be something of the future. MiHoYo is going to try to tweak around with the defense stat. All right, there's no reason for them to include these constellations that ignores a lot of defense, like 60% in C2's case for Raiden, and also C6 Yai. Right, these constellations have more value the more defense the enemy has. So here's a way for MiHoYo to reward people who are investing into constellations for Raiden, and it's also another way for them to set up these people who are currently running C0 to make another quick buck off of them down the line. Hey, you want to go back to using your precious Raiden Shogun? You want to go back to those glory days where you can just use your Raiden and slap things around? Well, you see the low-hanging fruit of C2 and C3 if you want, right? C2 is basically the fruit MiHoYo wants you to see down the line and say, I need that to get back to what my Raiden was capable of doing back in the day. And of course, these are all my speculations. I don't think MiHoYo wants to kill Raiden like they did with Venti. I think Venti right now sits somewhere like, what, 30%, 40% usage rate? I don't think MiHoYo wants that. But MiHoYo right now have put themselves in a pickle. They cannot release Venti back because Venti is either broken or useless in this game right now. Okay, useless is a bit of a harsh word. There are too many options better than him. Even Sucrose in the current landscape of things is better than Venti in many situations. And Kazuha, of course. Right? Don't need to say anything about Kazuha. So unless you guys think in the future they're going to release a character that replaces Zhongli, right? The upper tier of Zhongli, and then releases a character that's the upper tier of Raiden Shogun, I don't think they want to go down that path again, because we'll see in the next patch if Venti is coming back, if Kazuha is coming back, because we're still waiting on that Venti rerun. Just look at the sales on that banner, people. Just look at those sales and you'll know MiHoYo made an oopsie. They need these characters to have value, not just now, but down the line when they do reruns. Raiden Shogun's next rerun will put a lot more emphasis on her constellations because MiHoYo will force you to look into them more. MiHoYo will design content to make C0 Raiden a lot more difficult because they've given away a ton of freebies for C0 Raiden, and it's about time they come back and take some of that away, but at the same time not force you into a new character, but force you vertically upwards the same character that you already developed, love, and care for. And that's just my 2 cents. Honestly, you guys don't need to worry too much for the meantime. If you're a C0 Raiden Shogun player, she's going to be strong, and I'm sure there will be C0 players who will make it work even in dire times. Like right now, there are people running Hu Tao teams for the Golden Wolf Lord with no healers and still coming out on top. If you're a gamer, you're going to be a gamer in tough times and easy times. That's just how it's been and how it will always be. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to comment down below. I'm curious as to what you guys think. C0 Raiden and her future, as well as Constellation Raiden. So until next time, I urge you all to stay safe and peace.